Welcome to It's Not Just Menopause, the podcast that empowers you to navigate midlife with confidence through real talk, root cause insights, and no BS strategies that actually work. If you're dealing with fatigue, stubborn weight, brain fog, or just feeling off and overlooked, this show is for you. Discover what's really going on with your hormones and why it's not just about estrogen. Each episode breaks down what your doctor didn't explain, the internet got wrong, and what your body's been trying to tell you all along. From stress and metabolism to nervous system support and functional nutrition, we'll cover the tools that help you feel more like yourself, again, without restrictive diets, overwhelming plans, or hormone hype. I'm your host, Cindi Stickle, functional nutrition practitioner and certified menopause specialist. I'm here to guide you through the midlife noise so you can stop guessing, get the clarity you deserve, and finally take back control of your health. If you've ever felt dismissed, overwhelmed, or like your body just isn't responding the way it used to, you're in the right place. Let's rewrite the menopause story without the fluff. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of It's Not Just Menopause. And today we're talking about something that I think is the single most underrated reason women in perimenopause can't lose weight. They feel exhausted all the time and watch their metabolism slow down no matter what they do. And that is muscle loss, okay? Not hormones, not calories, not willpower, but muscle. And here's the thing, nobody's talking about this in a way that actually helps you do something about it. So that's what we're going to do today. So quick note before we dive in, if you're navigating perimenopause and want a simple morning routine that helps you regulate and start responding, your body to start responding quicker, I have my free perimenopause morning reset. I will have the show link in the show notes as well. But that's where I send everybody first, even my clients. So let's start with this. So what is actually happening in your to your muscle during perimenopause? Okay, so starting in your late 30s and really accelerating into perimenopause, women begin losing muscle mass. The clinical term is sarcopenia, and it's not rare. Unfortunately, it happens to all of us. It's not unusual. And we lose it faster than men do, unfortunately. And here's why this matters as much as it does. Muscle is metabolically active tissue. And that means it burns calories just by existing. So when you have more muscle, you burn calories while you're sleeping, right? Who doesn't like that? And it keeps your metabolism humming, even when you're sitting on the couch watching Netflix, right? So the more muscle you have, the higher your resting metabolic rate. So when you lose muscle, which absolutely is happening during perimenopause, if you're not actively working against it, don't skip your window like I did. I didn't do anything because I didn't even know I was in perimenopause. And so now I'm trying to play catch up, doing strength training now in postmenopause, okay? But so when you lose your muscle, your metabolism slows down. Not because you're lazy, not because you're eating wrong, because the tissue that was driving your metabolism is quietly disappearing, your muscle, right? And what's speeding this up, the losing of it? Your estrogen decline. We don't realize how protective estrogen is or was until you don't have it anymore. Okay. So estrogen plays a direct role in muscle protein synthesis. That's your body's ability to build and repair muscle. As estrogen drops in perimenopause, that process slows down significantly. Your body isn't building muscle the way it used to. And if you're also under chronic stress, which most of us are, elevated cortisol, your body is actually breaking down the muscle to use it as fuel. Before we get back to today's episode, I've got a quick question for you. Feel like your body's in chaos, but your labs are normal? You're not crazy, you're not broken, and you're definitely not alone. If you've been told it's just menopause or to wait it out, it's time for real answers. Take my free quiz, What's Really Driving Your Menopause Symptoms. In under 2 minutes, you'll uncover your top hidden stressor and get my free guide, The Menopause Stress Fix, sent straight to your inbox. Head to cindystickle.com/quiz or click the link in the show notes. If you're doing everything right but still feel like a mess, this quiz is your next step. All right, let's get back to today's episode. And this also happens when you don't eat enough of the smart carbohydrates. Do not cut them out. Our body gets 100% of its energy from carbs. When you don't eat carbs, it goes to the protein. So that means now the protein is fueling you instead of building your muscle. And we're losing it anyway in perimenopause, postmenopause. So it's just don't skip the carbs, all right? And so there's like multiple, like a double hit that we don't even know we're taking, right, as women. So here's where it gets frustrating, because what most women experience is this. They're eating the same way they've always eaten, maybe even eating less, please don't. Exercising, maybe even more than ever, please don't. And the weight is still creeping up. The fatigue is still there, and the body just doesn't look or feel the same. And the assumption from doctors, from wellness influencers that are like 20 and skinny, from the internet, is that it's a hormone problem or a discipline problem. Get your hormones tested, cut carbs, do more cardio. But here's what's actually happening. The engine is smaller, okay? So you're trying to run a car in a smaller engine and wondering, or on a smaller engine, right? You know, it's too small, and wondering why it doesn't go as fast. The hormones are a factor, but and we already know that. But if we don't address the muscle loss underneath it, we're just patching over the real problem, right? We're putting a Band-Aid on it. And the more cardio you do without supporting muscle, the more you potentially make this worse. For one, high cardio, you shouldn't be doing that at all as you get more into menopause. No, it's stressing out your body more. It holds on to that belly fat and you don't lose weight. Okay. And chronic cardio without the adequate protein and strength training can actually accelerate muscle breakdown, especially under stress, which, right? Cortisol again, right? Cortisol is our stress hormone. So this is a part that I really, really, really want you to hear. Okay. Because muscle loss doesn't always look the way that you think it does. All right. So yes, you might notice changes in your body composition, things feeling softer, even if the number on the scale hasn't moved much. But there are other signs that are easy to overlook. Fatigue that doesn't respond to rest. Your muscles are part of how your body manages energy. When there's less muscle tissue, energy production drops. And then blood sugar instability, the afternoon crash, the cravings, the mood swings after meals, right? Muscle is one of the main places your body stores glucose. Less muscle means less capacity to regulate blood sugar. That roller coaster you're on, muscle loss could be a big driver. Slower recovery from exercise. If you used to bounce back from a workout and now you're sore for 3 or 4 days, that's worth paying attention to. Okay. Feeling physically weaker, like your grip strength, your stairs feeling harder than they used to, carrying groceries feels more like an effort. These are not signs of aging. These are signs that your body needs a different kind of support than it did in your 20s and your 30s. So let's talk about what helps and what is making it worse, okay? And what we can do about it. And to be honest, it's not complicated, but it does require doing things differently than you probably have been. So protein, and more of it than you think, okay? Most women I work with are significantly under eating protein. And in perimenopause, your body needs more protein to do the same job because the efficiency of muscle protein synthesis has declined. The research on this is pretty consistent. Women in perimenopause through menopause to postmenopause likely need somewhere between 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day, and possibly more. And that's a lot higher than the general recommendation. And I just saw something recently flash across the TV, and it was like so low on protein. One thing I recommend to like my clients is for women, just aim for 100 grams a day minimum. So that's, try and get at least 30 per meal. There's 90 for 3 meals. And then if you have snacks that are high in protein, you really shouldn't eat food that doesn't have protein in it to help you meet that number. Okay. And so this doesn't mean like, protein shake culture, right? But a lot of people say that, yes, you should get as much of your food and protein and everything from whole foods. But listen, life is life, right? So I have a 40 grams of protein shake smoothie every morning. Okay. So I know I'm hitting a lot of my protein to start the day, and it keeps me hungry for several hours. Please don't get me started on dietitians. I've had so many run-ins with dietitians. They're so clinical and they don't have people skills. They don't know how to talk to their clients as humans. And I had one client who saw a dietitian. She was like forcing her to have a protein shake every day. And this woman is like a culinary person. She's like, no, I'm eating real food. So please, if you have any questions, reach out to me. But don't let someone tell you that you should never have it, or, yes, you should have most of your food from whole foods, but, like eggs, fish, chicken, Greek yogurt, legumes, cottage cheese, right, for protein. But like I said, I eat a protein shake every morning. Okay. And then I get a lot of other protein throughout the day, and I eat like my, food that, I'm eating whole food the rest of the day. But please, please, please reach out to me if people are telling you shouldn't be doing something. So, all right, I'll get off my soapbox. But okay, so let's move on to strength training. And this is not optional. And I learned this the hard way, so please don't be me. Okay. And I know not everyone loves this. My husband, we've been married almost 31 years, has worked out as long as I've known him. We've had a garage that's been a gym. Have I used it? No. Am I kicking myself for not? Yes. But, we need to do it, and it doesn't have to be long, like 15, 20 minutes just to get started. And I know some people love cardio, but I'm telling you, the cardio stresses out menopause body and it makes your body worse. So just be careful. Okay. But if you want to protect your metabolism, your bone density, your blood sugar, your long-term energy, strength training has to be in the picture. And it doesn't have to be intense. Like I said, 2 to 3 days a week of the resistance training, which is body weight, bands, dumbbells, whichever is accessible to you, will make a significant difference. And the goal isn't to look a certain way. The goal is to keep the engine running. And no, you're not going to like bulk up unless you're trying to go to a bodybuilding show, right? That's not going to happen. Okay. Yeah, I would love to be toned where when I hold up my arm, you go, ooh, look at her muscles, right? But I'm not going to be looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay. So cortisol, the muscle thief you're not thinking about. This is where I tie it back into the bigger picture. Chronic stress and elevated cortisol actively break down muscle tissue. So if you're eating enough protein and doing strength training, but you're not running on empty, sleeping poorly, or chronically overwhelmed, your cortisol is working against everything you're doing. Okay, and this is why it's always smart to, I start with the regulation in my work. Like the core of my group program, my 101, is regulation. You have to get your body to feel safe. Okay, not because it's a feel-good advice. No, because until your body feels safe and your stress response is dialed back, everything else, nutrition, exercise, supplements, it's fighting an uphill battle. Your body will not accept that when it thinks it's in fight or flight all the time. And basically, most of us are in that every day because of the way life is crazy. Okay. And so what makes it worse? Eating too little. Chronic calorie restriction is one of the fastest ways to accelerate muscle loss, and it's already slowed down your metabolism, okay? Your body will break down muscle for fuel before it touches the fat stores, the fat in your body, right? Especially under stress. It needs that fat to protect it from the danger it thinks you're in. And eating less is not the answer here. And too much cardio and not enough recovery, again, not saying cardio is bad. You just have to do it the right way in perimenopause and menopause. But hour-long cardio sessions without adequate protein, sleep, or stress management, and you may be spinning your wheels at best and accelerating muscle loss at worst. Okay? So let me talk a little bit about something else that affects muscle loss, okay? So it's a little quick detour because I know a lot of you are either on peptides right now, like a GLP-1, or seriously considering them. And this is something that I talk about a lot because it's directly relevant to everything we just covered. So GLP-1 specifically they're an incredible tool. I started mine in January of 2026, and I've been transparent about my journey every step of the way, and the results have been real. But here's the thing nobody tells you up front, that peptides, GLP-1s, accelerate muscle loss if you're not eating correctly and if your dose is way too high. There is no reason your doctor needs to every 4 weeks up your dose, because then your symptoms are way worse. It's a way for you to spend more money on this medication that's already expensive. Talk to me, because I have another way of getting it. But you don't need it. I have been on the 2.5 milligram dose, which is not even a medically appropriate dose. It's like the beginner dose to get your body used to it for 4 weeks. I've been on it for 10 weeks, 12 weeks. So, and I've still lost like 13.5 pounds. So you don't need to go up, because the more you increase your dose, that's when you really lose muscle mass. And you're also not hungry, right? So when your appetite drops, which is the whole point, right? Most women naturally start eating less overall. And less food often means less protein. And less protein on top of already declining estrogen and the natural muscle loss of perimenopause, that's a recipe for losing the wrong kind of weight. Okay? You want fat loss, not muscle loss. There's a big difference, and your metabolism will feel that difference for years. And so this is why nutrition strategy on peptides is not optional, but they also affect your muscle loss. So this is perfect for this episode today. But you have to be intentional about protein. You have to be intentional about how you're eating when your hunger cues are suppressed, if you're on the GLP-1. And because your body will not volunteer that information, right? Most peptide prescribers aren't giving you this piece either. Like, doctors don't even reach out. Like, they don't even know anything about these drugs. They just know they can prescribe it, okay? And so I decipher the fine print on this so you don't have to learn it the hard way, okay? And so I am going to be hosting a live workshop on April 14th, 2026, GLP-1 nutrition in perimenopause and menopause. The missing nutrition piece no one talks about. So we're going to go deep into exactly what this is. We're going to talk about what is needed to be eaten to support your muscles, your metabolism, and everything like that. How to eat, what to eat, like when your appetite is suppressed and all that. Okay, the link to sign up for that, it's a free workshop, will be in the show notes. Okay. And so I have here's me being real with you about my own experience, right? So I have nearly 30 years in this holistic health journey that I'm on. I have multiple certifications in nutrition. And like I said before, I completely missed my perimenopause window. And by the time I realized what had been happening to my body, I was already in postmenopause. And during all those years, I was doing a lot of right things. But I know I wasn't eating enough protein, right? I wasn't doing the strength training at all until about 3 years ago. And I was doing way too much cardio. And I had, I've had 30 years of personal metabolic challenges that when I'm looking back at that were deeply tied to the muscle piece that I wasn't paying attention to. So when I started doing things differently, more protein, strength training, less chronic cardio, stress regulation first, my body started to respond finally, right? And that's what I want for you. It's not a diet. It's a different understanding of what your body actually needs right now. Okay? So muscle loss is important whether you're on a GLP-1 or not. We lose muscle no matter what. GLP-1 just accelerates that, okay, to an extent. All right? Mine's not accelerated because I'm on a very, very, very low dose. Plus, I'm strength training. Okay, so if your metabolism has slowed down, which I know it has, if you're a 1,200 calorie person for decades, your metabolism is tanked, okay? If the weight isn't moving, if you're exhausted no matter what you try, muscle loss is most likely part of that picture. And it's not your fault. It's biology. It's perimenopause, but it is fixable. Okay. So 3 things that move the needle most is 1, eat enough protein, more than you think you need. 2, add resistance training, even just 2 days a week, 15, 20 minutes. 3, address the stress, because cortisol is eating your muscle no matter what else you're doing. Okay. Cortisol is our stress hormone. We got to get that under control. Okay. So if you want to dig into exactly how to eat to support your metabolism and hormones and perimenopause, that's what I do in my one-to-one group. It's not just hormone system that I created. Okay. I'll have a link for a call in the show notes. And again, if you're on peptides or even thinking about starting them and you want to make sure that you're actually protecting your muscle while you lose weight, come to my workshop. You're going to learn so much about GLP nutrition in menopause and perimenopause and what's missing. Like, no one talks about this. Again, and then the link to my perimenopause morning reset, which will help start getting your stress levels lowered. Okay. That will be in those show notes. So I just want to thank you for being here. Please share this with a woman that you know that could definitely benefit from this. And I will be in your headphones next week. Thank you for tuning in to It's Not Just Menopause. I hope today's episode gave you real clarity about what's actually going on in your body and reminded you that it's not just your hormones and it's definitely not your fault. If you found value in this conversation, make sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Cindi Stickle Nutrition or head to cindystickle.com for more resources and personalized support on your menopause and midlife health journey. Until next time, keep questioning what you've been told and trust that your body is not broken. You just need the truth and the tools that actually work.